Welcome to Hormone Breakthrough Wednesday. Hello, I'm Robin Nielsen, and I'm honored that you've chosen to be here with me because I know there are a lot of ways you could be spending your time. My mission is to show women how to take charge of their health naturally so they can be in a place of wellness, happiness, peace, and love more of the time. So this spreads to their families, their communities, and to the world. I'm here to help you take back control of your health. Your healing starts here. And just by showing up today, your genes, your genetics, your DNA are already starting to express themselves for the better. You're already healing. Let's feel more confident, vibrant, and sexy together. Welcome to today's program. Oh my gosh, I have such a beautiful guest with me here today who has really done some amazing work. She definitely took charge of her health, and my team really picked her out of many women because she's really been doing the work, and she's seen some incredible changes in her health. And it's kind of what can happen when you say yes to yourself and you take charge. So I'd like to give a really warm welcome to Laurie Sprague. Laurie, it's so great to have you here.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Pretty close, Sprague.
Sprague. Okay, great.
Yep.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So last year, and maybe well before that, you were having some not so great health symptoms, and you didn't know if they were hormonally related or not. Can you tell us some of the things that you were experiencing?
I felt like I didn't know my body anymore. I had fatigue. I couldn't sleep. I had severe hot flashes, night sweats, inflammation galore. I was sweating in places that I didn't know I could sweat in. And I wasn't thinking straight. I was making mistakes that I never made in things that I do often, and very forgetful, headaches. I had so many things going on. I just needed help. I needed to figure out what was going on with my body.
Yeah. So I have some notes here, and tell us about your moods, about joint pain, about kind of the struggle with weight that you had going on.
Yes, severe weight gain. I think over the last 5 years or so,
Some not so great health symptoms.
I mean, it kind of creeped up, but I'm gonna say I gained 40 pounds. It was tremendous. And yes, I was trying to get exercise. I started to do some strength training at one point, or go walking every day. And there was always a reason in my body why I couldn't go walking that day. My ankles were hurting, or I'd be doing strength training and turn a certain way, and I would tweak my ankle or my wrist. I had a problem with my wrist, like things that I wasn't doing very strenuously, but they just felt weak.
Yeah.
My joints would ache. I mean, I could see the inflammation in some of my joints. I could feel it. It was, I knew that I wasn't a young person anymore, but it seemed like I aged 40 years in 2 years.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get a grasp on.
Yeah. And tell us about your moods.
Oh, I isolated a lot because I knew I was miserable, and I just didn't want to take it out on other people, because I started to do that, and I knew I did that. So, and it was up and down. Sometimes I would be fine. Sometimes nothing would happen. I would just be very low, down in the dumps. I did feel moody at times, and I really was never like that. I was pretty upbeat, positive person most of my life. And so, yes, I was moody.
So you said that for a couple of years you'd been experiencing these things. Is there anything that you can think of that kind of set things off for you? Is there something in your life that happened that you think maybe started some of these symptoms happening?
No, nothing really major happened in my life.
Okay.
Maybe I was noticing some food allergies, but I didn't really relate anything to being moody. It was sporadic, and it was getting to be more often than not. And it would just be at random times, maybe just at work, or out at a function, or even talking to a friend. And I even had a couple of people mention to me, that I didn't seem like myself, and asking me if something was wrong. Yeah, no, nothing major happened,
Yeah, so there
which
was
made
no
it
big,
very confusing.
yeah, life event that happened that said, oh, okay, now I'm in trouble, or yeah. And that's very common. I mean, I definitely experienced a lot of the things that you have experienced, but at a much younger age, as a lot younger. And so, so you knew that you had a sense that you needed help, right? And somehow you found Robin's hormone reset. And tell us about that. Like, how did you find it? How did you decide to say yes to something that you really knew nothing about? You didn't know if it was going to help you or not. Like, how did you go about joining?
I was desperate, and knew that there were a lot of different types of groups on Facebook. And so just one of my searches was in Facebook, and I just put hormone issues or hormonal changes in the Facebook search bar. And yours was not the only one that came up. There were quite a few. But you had a course. It wasn't just, weekly lives. It wasn't just questions and answers. It was interactive, and it was a commitment, and it was an actual syllabus. Like each day we're going to learn something about what's going on with our bodies. And so to me, it wasn't, a blast of information all at once. It wasn't quick and done. And if you caught it, you didn't, hopefully you caught some of that stuff, because you can never go back to it. This was more organized. It was laid out nicely. I felt that you made a very big deal about the commitment part. If you miss something, it's not going to be beneficial. So really make this commitment to yourself. You can do it. It's not asking a lot of time. And I loved that it was that organized, and it was only a certain amount of time.
Okay.
It wasn't, just a few days, and it wasn't going to be lasting for 6 months.
Right.
It was a condensed amount of time, but long enough that I knew that I could just concentrate and focus on this one particular subject, learn from it, and make maybe a change or two according to that subject, and then move on to the next day.
Yeah. Well, you really showed up and you really took action. And that's what I request when you come into the program, because I don't want this to be just another program, right? We're good at signing up for things.
Yes.
We're not so good at seeing results, right? And making a commitment to showing up. And you totally cleared out your calendar, you committed, you showed up, and you took action. And one of the things that we do is we take hormone assessments every day. When you did the program, we took it before the program started, and then we did the action steps in the program, and we took it again at the end.
Yeah.
In the program that we run now, that's coming right up, right on September 26th, we actually do a hormone assessment every single day. And then we add all those up, and then we do one at the end. And so, and it's a little bit shorter than the reset that you did, so you had a little bit longer to take action and see some results. And then since then, you have also joined the Natural Hormone Solution Program. So you have kept it going. But I really love, so anyway, you said yes, I'm going to do this. This looks organized. This looks like something I can do. It's not too long, but it's long enough where I can maybe see some results. And
Yes.
so, yeah, you had said something like you had a feeling that your issues were hormone related, but you just didn't know where to start. And we also have notes that you felt really overwhelmed by, consulting Dr. Google, with there being so much information out there. So yeah, does that sound about right?
Yes, it does. Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. Yes.
So do you remember your complete hormone assessment score when you first started the program?
I had an astonishing 61.
Yeah, so you were at 61. So what's interesting about the complete hormone assessment is every point is a symptom, right? Every point is a symptom of hormone imbalance. And were you surprised at some of the symptoms that they were related to a specific hormone?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's really, really helpful information. It's like, because I was someone who was like running from one task to another all the time, right? And that's elevated cortisol. And who would know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And so after, well, as of this month, August, right, 2022. So it's been almost a year. So you had 61 symptoms, and I guess you just took the complete hormone assessment again. And what was your score?
5.
5. Like, that's incredible. Like, going from 61 symptoms to 5 symptoms, like, that's unbelievable.
And
Congratulations.
it's only because, I still have hot flashes here and there. I'm not riddled with them like I used to be, but a 5.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
So
Right, yeah.
let's talk about some things that have improved for you. So what are some of the things that have improved that you've noticed?
So I definitely don't have the joint pain at all, and anywhere at all.
Wow, amazing.
At all. So, and like I mentioned, my ankles were the biggest issue. Yeah. They're totally fine. They feel stronger. They're not inflamed, and other joints as well. That's right at the top, because my weight is important, but at any weight, if I'm in pain, I'm in pain. So that was incredible. So that's right at the top. And my weight loss, I lost weight. So inflammation went down.
Yeah.
And I feel good. Like, that's the overall, whether I'm overweight, I'm still a little overweight, according to the doctor, but I'm much less, weighing less than I did. But the way I feel is more important than what the scale says.
Absolutely.
So that's a huge win. That inflammation really affected me, and it was affecting my mood.
Yeah.
And the way I move around, and I do a physical job. So inflammation and joint pain were the two things that I just needed help with at the top, so I could move around in my job. And pain, all the time.
Pain is a big stressor, and I think that we just push through it and we learn to live with it. And then once it's gone, we're like, wow, like, it's life changing, when pain is gone. It's just life changing. And when it's there, it's a constant underlying root stressor, right? It takes our hormones out. So that's really
Yeah.
powerful. So
Yeah.
no more knee or ankle pain, no more joint pain. Incredible. And that's something that we attribute to just getting older. I mean, you'll hear people say that. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
it's so hard for me to get out of bed in the morning. I'm just getting older. But as I go into my day, the pain lessens. And you're like, why are we even tolerating that? And it's because we don't know that we don't have to have that.
Right. And even now that you mention it, it didn't even occur to me that I had severe knee pain from being a runner when I was younger. And so my knees were bothering me even after I stopped running for years. And now that you mention it, my knees haven't hurt in since in a year, in almost a year, because I walk. And sometimes if I had walked too far or too much or too often, my knees would hurt. And now that you mention it, I haven't had that pain at all either. I
Oh,
forgot about it.
that's so great. I know that's why we do the assessments, because when things improve, we forget all about them.
Yes.
But
That's a
it's
good,
nice to say, that's better, that's
yay.
better, that's better. It's so great. Yeah, it's so wonderful.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
And
the
so,
other thing that you just mentioned too, you just mentioned the knees and something else. And yeah, it's all better.
yeah, the knee and ankle pain. I
Yeah.
mentioned that. And then you felt lighter and your clothes were fitting better.
Yes.
Yeah. And you said
Yes.
that you decreased a lot of inflammation. And I think what's really important to note there is that inflammation is water weight. So when we begin to release weight, we're releasing sometimes water weight, and
Oh, yeah.
we discount it. It's like, oh, I'm just, releasing water weight, big deal. But that's inflammation. And that's really important to celebrate, because you're releasing inflammation. So huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then tell us a
Yeah.
few things. You said hot flashes really improved.
Definitely. I'm sorry?
Yep, hot flashes improved. And have you released 20 pounds?
Yes, I have.
Now, that's incredible.
Yep. And that was in the over the last year.
Yeah.
So it was gradual. It
Mhm.
wasn't, I didn't go on a diet. I just changed my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
And do you feel that maintaining your current weight is doable without dieting?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the biggest things, is that, releasing weight is really a side benefit of getting healthier. So we have to get healthy to lose weight. And then it's so easy to maintain it as long as you continue to take care of yourself.
Right. So what I have found is that I haven't dieted at all, at
Mhm.
all.
So great.
And if anything, if I felt like I needed it, I might have done like a cleanse, but a very short term cleanse. And that's, short term. I go right back to my regular healthy eating. And I find that not only do I love now, I never did before, but now I love preparing my healthy foods. I actually enjoy it. I used to think too much time,
Yeah.
don't feel like doing that, but I enjoy that. But I really enjoy how I feel after I eat the healthy foods, and they're all from your approved food list.
So great. So
And
great.
I jumped right in at first, adhered to just what was on the list. And I found it is very doable. Very
So
doable.
doable. Yeah. So doable.
It's not,
Yeah.
the foods that I was eating that are not on the list, I actually thought about it. I said, well, what were the foods that I was eating? They were causing me inflammation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
And I
that's
don't
what
want
we
that.
do on day 2, right? Is we talk about food, because I know so many of us, feel like we know what to eat. We know what to eat, but just with a few little tweaks, right?
Right.
You can really refine it in a way that is a game changer, for
Yeah.
hormones, for feeling better.
Yes.
Yeah, you really have done some amazing work for yourself on behalf of yourself. You said yes to yourself to join the reset. You said yes to show up to the reset. You said yes to the Natural Hormone Solution Program, and you've seen all these incredible benefits. So, what would you say to a woman who is thinking about joining Robin's Hormone Reset?
Say yes to yourself and trust that this is good information and it works and it is doable. And after I did it for a little while, I enjoyed this healthy lifestyle. I actually enjoy it. So saying yes to myself not only changed the way I feel physically with the inflammation, the joint pain and everything, but emotionally, I think it did something for me where because I took my health so seriously and said yes to myself, I I just made myself more important, and it made me feel good to make myself important. I mean, who's gonna me?
Right.
So if you're on the fence, say yes to yourself. Say
Yeah.
yes and trust.
Yeah.
Trust that it is going to make you feel better. It absolutely will. It will. It's a commitment. It's a commitment. But when you make the commitment, you will emotionally and physically feel so much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
And I love that it's a process, right? So we're used to a quick fix. We want a pill or we want a diet. I mean, that's what I did for decades, right? I dieted every January. And I think that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. But, I would always release some weight, right? But then I would go off the diet. And then when you go off the diet, you gain the weight right back, right? So we need to shift our mindset. And that's the first thing that we work on day 1 is mindset, right? And setting sort of the foundation for a healthier way of being in the world. And we have a number of ways that we do that. So it's really fun. And Laurie, I am just so inspired and impressed by you. You're just like getting goosebumps. You're so amazing. And it's totally doable for every single woman. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I've ever met Laurie. I am so honored that she said yes to join us today. And Laurie, where are you joining in from?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. It's so special. So for those of you listening, like what are some of the symptoms that Laurie talked about that you can relate to? The joint pain, the hot flashes, the weight gain, the irritability, what else? The kind of
Brain fog.
brain fog, trouble sleeping. We didn't talk too much about that, but what are some of those symptoms that you can relate to, and what are some symptoms, maybe just list 2, that you may be experiencing that you would really like to resolve? And that's definitely a start to naming it so you can change it. We want to name it so you can change it. And then we'll definitely be reading every single post here. And let's give Laurie some big love for showing up here today, just out of the generosity and kindness of her heart, right, to help to inspire and lift us all up, right? Because we have big, amazing things to do in this world, and we cannot be taken out by health issues. We just can't, right? We deserve to feel amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you again so much, Laurie, for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
you are so welcome. And I look forward to seeing you in the upcoming reset. Will you be joining us?
I am.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Oh, good. Well, we will look for you in there, and definitely look for Laurie and give her some love in the reset group too. And, she's one of the kind of experts now, so you could ask her questions if you want to. All right. Well, sending you so much love, Laurie. Mwah. And sending all of you so much love.